Guys, so for the oral history project, which is going to be due today, I figured I would give a couple points of clarification just so you guys can understand what exactly is expected of you and what you need to do. So if we take a look over here, this is the assignment that you got on Google Classroom. There's basically two steps. Now, I will say this, everything needs to be turned into your Google Drive folder. Nothing for the oral history is actually going to be turned into Google Classroom. I put the update and the instructions on Google Classroom, and it technically is an assignment, but I don't need you to do anything on Google Classroom. It's all going on to the Google Drive folder that you created for this project. So please remember that everything is being turned into your folders, not to here. If you're still confused about where your folder is, or if you shared one with me, contact me personally, and I'll get back to you with more information about that. So the first step is the outline. So we can see this right here. Everyone complete the final outline. Doesn't need to be lots of full sentences, but if your oral history were an essay, how would you organize it and what would you say? Now this is a key point. For this outline, which again does not need to be fully written out paragraph format, but just bullet points, sort of getting the main ideas across, what can you take away from your interview? Now remember, this interview is not just going to be a full the story that I want you to tell is not going to be just the interview itself, but it's going to be about the topic you interviewed on. If you interviewed your parents about Vietnam or maybe an uncle about civil rights or something like that. This isn't just a like book report of their experience in civil rights. You're making an argument. You're talking about civil rights in some way, shape, or form, saying maybe, let me use a good example here. So a really good example, and this one isn't even like a major historical event, but this is one that people have used in the past that worked out really well, is an immigration story. People have interviewed their parents, their grandparents, aunts or uncles, people who came to uh, this country years ago, and sort of asked them about their experience. So essentially, what we need you to do is not create their story in a video presentation format or in an outline format for this first step one. What we need you to do is talk about immigration in general and then use your interview to really hammer home the point. Like, if you're going to try to argue that it was easier to immigrate to the United States in the 70s than it is now, your interview should back you up in some way, shape, or form. This means that the outline that you create might actually have to be based on the interview itself. The argument that you end up taking, maybe your interview doesn't support it. So you have to come up with a new argument or a new perspective to sort of spin on it. So I would say think about that for the outline. It's not the story of my aunt or my uncle or my grandpa or my parents, but it's the story of what they talked about, and here is their perspective, sort of giving you some evidence to back you up. So the outline's simple. It's taking that idea of, oh, I'm going to argue about, civil rights or immigration or Desert Storm, whatever it is. You got an interview there. And now you have your outline filled out. Now, step two is one of two choices that essentially you can do. You can either, so step two is two options, I should say. Sorry, option one and option two, right down here. You can create a Google slide presentation that follows the outline. So basically, every slide is like a new point that you're making, maybe a new argument or something like that. Includes outline of your story, includes pictures, and if possible, um, some quotes. If you can get sound bites in there, like actual clips from the audio, fantastic. If you just want to transcribe and write it out, totally okay. I'm fine with that. So that would be step one. This is pretty basic. You can enhance it with a screen, like you can do a screencast-o-matic, so you can points like I've been doing for our notes using this. It's this app right here. It just pops right up. It overlays over whatever your screen's showing, and you can go through stuff there. That is an option to sort of enhance this. So this is option one. I'm going to say uh, this is the I'm really trying hard and going for it. This option is going to give you extra points. I may be willing to even, if you do well on this, give you a 50 out of 50 or something like that. To really, if you really go for it and really try to make this thing nice, and you're trying to recover some points in this class, this would be an excellent way to do it. As for option two, this one is just this is the less strenuous option. Go to option two. There's this organizer that's been attached at the bottom. You're going to fill it out with information, and then that is going to go into your Google Drive folder. So whichever option you choose, option one or option two, it's going to end up in your Google Drive folder, as well as your outline. Hopefully that answers questions about what this looks like and what you need to do. I'm going to sum it all up again at the end here so we understand. I understand this is hard. This is a big project with many steps, and me not being able to be there with you really does make things difficult. Next Monday in the afternoon, I'm going to make I'll post the times, but I'm gonna post a time where I'm gonna have a Google Hangout or Zoom meeting where you guys can log on, join me, and we can talk about stuff. That is going to be next Monday, which I understand is after the due date for this. But if you're still struggling and you need help, then that'll be fantastic for me to talk to you then, and you can get the assignment in still. But here's what I need you to do for this project: is this outline, the final outline, this link right here. It's at the top of the assignment that I gave you. That is going to, once filled out, be put in your Google Drive folder under the title Final Outline. Then come down to step 2 and choose either option 1 or option 2. Either is fine. Remember, option 1 gives you some extra chance for points. Option 2 is the less strenuous route. Whichever one you do, once it's done, also goes in the Google Drive folder. And then we are done with the oral history. We're going to move on forward. We're going to keep talking Cold War next week. We're going to start moving into Korea and Vietnam, start talking civil rights, finish up the year as we normally would. That is what we're looking at. Again, please keep emailing me with your questions. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Even after I'm finishing this video right now, there's some emails I'm going to attend to. Some of them may be from you guys, so we'll do that. But again, if there are individual concerns, please let me know. The final outline due tomorrow night. The final project due the end of this week. I'll be grading both at the end of this week, but those are the due dates technically. So please get them in by those times. Thank you guys so much. We're all struggling together, but we can do this. I will talk to you soon. And again, please contact me if you have specific questions. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.